So, go with your gut. Put your trust in a higher power, in our institutions, and in karma. Believe that people will do the right thing. Trust the process, and that your creativity is a well that will never run dry. 8 years ago, I did the math, I was DJing a queer event at 3S Art Space, and I'm always the last one there, right? Except for this one particular night, where our speaker for today was also one of the last ones there. And I said, she was Chloe Cataldo is our speaker today. And she was there at this event, and she was with her wife, and they were dancing, and we were like, this was like 8 years ago, so I felt like 27 years younger than I am right now, right? So we were like having an after party at our house, which doesn't ever happen anymore, right? So I was like, come on, I don't know you, we just met, like come on over, let's hang out. And they did, and it was awesome. And a friendship has blossomed over the last 8 years that I'm just so incredibly grateful for. I really don't even have words for it. But I want to tell you a little bit about my friend Chloe Cataldo, also known as DJ Ma'am. So at the time, I learned that Chloe had DJ'd in a previous life. And she kind of said to me, well, I don't know how to use digital, like I haven't done it on digital. I used to, like she was a real DJ. No offense to me. And I said, well, I'll show you how to use it. It's really easy. You're gonna figure it out in no time, and you'll be fine. So she came over to my house, set all the DJ equipment up for her. 4 hours later, I went down to check on her, and she was still jamming out. The passion and just energy that Chloe brings to life, but to the DJ boards, is just been one of the coolest things to get to witness personally. And I've often had the opportunity to get to DJ alongside her as well. Has anyone ever been to a Ma'am Scoot show? Kind of nothing like it. But what I've learned about Chloe over the past few years is that her energy and her enthusiasm is contagious. Her love of music, but like just her general way she walks through the world is inspiring to me, and I just feel so grateful to call her my friend. On top of being an awesome DJ and an awesome friend, she's also an amazing wife, or at least so she tells me. She's a mom, an amazing, incredible mom, and she works at the University of New Hampshire. You could read everything about her in her bio that she's done, but I just want to make sure that you all understand what a stellar human she is, and who she is while she's doing all those other things. Just makes me real grateful to know her, and so proud to welcome to the stage for Creative Mornings Trust, Chloe Cataldo.
Wow. I don't need to do my own intro. Thank you. Those words they're sitting with me, so thank you. Can you guys hear me okay? I don't want to yell at you at 8:30 in the morning. I'm also not a morning person, so we gotta find a balance here. So when I was given this theme, trust, I really went back and forth with the direction I wanted to take. I tried a few different things, and they just didn't feel authentic to me. So I finally landed on something that is really important to me, which Scooch just mentioned a little bit, which is music.
It's also tired.
Here we are, thank you. This is why Scooch and I are good friends, because when we DJ, the technical stuff, that's all. So I decided to go with Trust the Music because I felt like it would really talk more about me and my journey and life in a way that feels really safe. So I hope that that is the feeling in this room tonight, or this morning. I'm gonna take some advice from my friend Lionel. Take a breath, and let's just get at it. Woo! I will say that these album covers, I was telling Scooch and Natalie on a call, they don't have anything to do with what I'm about to talk about, except for the fact that all of these artists in some way mean something to me personally. So that is why that is there. Okay. I trust the music. It's part of why I DJ. It's honest. It allows for varied interpretation. It can be calming, and at times, it can make you feel rageful. There are so many things we experience in our lives that when we reflect on them, we wonder, was that even real? Did that actually happen? Or am I remembering what I think happened? Our memories of an event or experience evolve over time, and we can change the narrative of a story simply because our own perceptions have changed. You can think back to a specific situation and wonder if you asked enough questions or if you asked the right questions. Sometimes we have more questions than we do answers. That is the beauty and at times the curse of how we remember and retell stories, but not with music. Music can't lie to you because ultimately the things that you feel, the ways in which we react to a song, a melody, or a lyric are innately inside of us. We hear music the way we choose to hear it. And in turn, we respond to those songs the way we want to respond to them. So yes, a song may suggest something that makes you think. And we may ultimately agree with the artist in the way that the interpretation of the song was meant to be heard. But those feelings, those are guided by us. Those are guided by our values. Those are guided by our own beliefs. And in a world that at times feels extremely inconsistent and ever-changing, music is consistent. I titled this Trust the Music because a great song can make you really think. A great song can make you self-reflect. A great song can make you feel so many different emotions. Some may even be in conflict with each other. You'll feel that happiness, that love, that disappointment, those anxious moments, those hidden memories, those moments that you don't feel strong or brave, and moments that make you feel powerful and indestructible. Have you ever created a playlist of sad songs? Like, why do we do that? I was actually just talking about this recently with my friend Kristen, believe it or not. And the easiest answer is we do that because we want to feel sadder. For me, I need to find songs that can really connect with my emotions that I'm feeling because it allows me to work through those emotions. I know those songs will resonate with me and my emotions, however temporary they may be. Truthfully, music is one of the few things that we can connect on as humans because it can feel safe. To trust anything, a friend, a colleague, and even a family member, in some cases, can feel really vulnerable. And it can be hard, but music provides a protective shield that allows a person to feel safe within that vulnerability. The power of music is one of the few genuine moments that can be extremely public and super private. The connection between the musician or musicians and you is almost an unbreakable bond. To create a song that allows another person to connect with you and your story, to me, is one of the most powerful gifts that we have. This can happen in many ways, but I'm going to focus on 3 areas this morning that are important to me and have shaped who I am. Trust the lyrics. The reason people may not like a specific type of music is usually a preference. But I offer this as another option. And while we often will stay with one type of music, it feels comfortable. Is it possible that maybe things that we have learned and have shaped our own values are in direct conflict with other things that people convey in their music? In truth, we are all humans with lived experiences that help inform our ideas, our ideologies, our values, and our beliefs. But if we are to trust other sources and hear something that challenges our own truths, that can add doubt or uncertainty to our own ideas or things that we were taught. And those things have shaped our morals and values. It makes us ask hard questions like, how do I trust what I've always believed if this song is telling me something different? In 1986, NWA gave a very clear and vivid picture of their experiences and their truths. It wasn't pretty, but it was their reality. Our country was not, and truthfully, is still not ready to hear those truths. So instead, they were painted as villainous criminals who in fact were speaking from a lens that was just different than what people were used to hearing on popular radio. I'm not going to dive into their history of hip hop and rap and R&B because it's well documented. But the fear felt from people that did not live in communities that were and are marred by violence and brutality, those that reside in neighborhoods, in beautiful cul-de-sacs and gated communities, was and still is palpable. It was the first time that the other truth of our country was shared with mainstream music, with the mainstream music industry, in a way that was brutally honest, and it scared people. In some cases, it surprised people. The music offered truth, and people were left to reconcile those feelings. On one hand, there was a population of people who never experienced any of these things, and it provided an internal battle between what they knew and what they were hearing, and what they were seeing, and what they were feeling. On the other, it provided a way for people to share these not so hidden secrets in a way that was honest, in hopes that by sharing these stories, maybe that will be a way to work towards a solution at best, a conversation at minimum. 38 years later, we were having the same conversations while still searching for a solution, and artists are sharing similar stories in their music. Let me provide an example. This song is entitled Freedom by Beyonce. This is one of my favorite Beyonce songs. It isn't the club banger or the song that may get people hyped and excited during a DJ set, but it's a song filled with honesty and truth. In the song, as we hear Beyonce say, "Freedom, freedom, I can't move, freedom cut me loose," singing "Freedom, freedom, where are you, 'cause I need freedom too." There are so many pieces within this song that we could dissect, but I choose this part because beneath the words written and sung are the themes of systematic racism and oppression, while acknowledging the importance of perseverance and strength. So I ask you, how does that song make you feel? If you're a Beyonce fan, you may just love it because it's Beyonce. But does it challenge or disrupt your feelings or thoughts? What if I told you that much of what NWA rapped about in 1986 is identical in theme to that Beyonce song? This is a small sample size, but if in a 38-year span, the content is the same, what does that say about our ability, or better yet, inability, to trust the lyrics of a song? If we really listened with our hearts and not our own bias, maybe we wouldn't have music that sounds redundant or repetitive, because the situation is also redundant and repetitive. Music will always provide a space for people to share their experiences, but if we hear the same messages over and over again, and we're being asked to pay attention to the same themes over and over again, it begs the question, are we listening to understand, or are we listening to respond? Said differently, are we really trusting the lyrics? Trust the DJ. I gravitate towards 90s R&B and hip hop music. People refer to me as the 90s DJ. And I admittedly, I love that genre of music. But the reason why I love that era really is connected to my own memories about growing up in that era. Some great moments and some hard moments, but all allowing for deep reflection. I hear a song and can remember how I felt in certain moments. Like I have a visceral reaction sometimes to certain songs you would not expect. This section is a bit vulnerable for me, but I think it's important because it directly connects to my own journey and how music has impacted that journey. It is how I have had to learn to trust the DJ. I love this song, you can't tell. I can't deny it, I wasn't gonna dance, but I can't. This group is called The Boys. 4 brothers ranging from age 9 to 14, serenading their first love with a love bop. It's a great tune. I chose this song to share, not because of its award-winning writing, because of what it represents to me. When I hear this song, it brings me back to being 11 years old, trying to figure out how to navigate my identities, of which I have a few. This particular song harnesses the complexity for me of being a young Black child while living in a middle-class neighborhood and trying to figure out how to fit in while being told that maybe I did not fit in. As some used to say, I was too Black for the white social groups, but not Black enough for my Black social groups. Here's what I mean. I'm adopted, raised by 2 amazing parents in downtown Boston. My parents are white, which in 1978 was still really rare. I have an adopted sister from Seoul, Korea, and then my brother, who's my parents' biological son. I give this background to provide context to my upbringing. I'm so thankful for my family, and I've always felt loved and supported while recognizing the difficulty in navigating difficult moments. This is easier to understand and dissect now as an adult, while I often struggled to do that as a child. Understanding my Blackness was hard at times. I was struggling with my identity while also just trying to figure out how to be a preteen. This is a hard balance, but it can be harder if you're being told through music videos or your friends that being a dark-skinned Black girl was not the popular thing. In fact, it was unpopular, and during that era, some might say, you were ugly. I had a friend at the time who, for this purpose right here, I'll refer to as Jay. Jay reinforced everything I felt about myself. Every message that I saw on television or within my own community at times. Dark skin just wasn't it. And in order to be successful, or seen as pretty. You needed to have lighter skin, and if you were so lucky, really straight hair. I was dark, with tightly curled hair that at times we referred to as nappy. We know better now. But this friend was someone I really wanted to connect with. She was biracial. She had lighter skin, curly hair, and by all accounts, she was what was in the 80s and 90s. I followed her, hoping it would allow me to be accepted. I knew I couldn't pass as a light-skinned girl, but I hoped to get a pass because of our friendship. I'd let her treat me like, you can use the expletive, when people were around, but in private, she was different, somewhat kind and funny. So I hung on to those private moments because I really wanted her to like me. I'm not gonna belabor this story, but the point is, Jay was the first person to teach me about colorism within my own culture. She made me wish I had lighter skin or straighter hair, and it took me years to recover. And if I'm being honest, I still work at it, every day. I still straighten my hair from time to time, but usually I have it natural or braided. But still, back then, I yearned for straight hair. And my wants and desires were constantly reinforced through music and music videos. So this is the dilemma or conflict that I have with music. How could something that made me feel so great also make me feel so unsure about myself? One day, Jay and I were going to meet a boyfriend of hers downtown that she wanted to set me up with. In the first place, my parents would have killed me because they did not know where we were meeting, and we did not know we were meeting said boy. But this is what Jay wanted to do, so I was willing to risk my freedom to do it. The day we were supposed to meet the boy, Jay called him to say she wanted to introduce me to him. She began describing me on the phone, and as I listened, I heard a description that was not me. She began describing me on the phone, sorry. The person she described very much sounded like the features she had. Even at 11, I knew why that was. Dark skin was not pretty or exotic. So in order to convince him to come, she needed to describe a lighter skinned person with perfect hair because that was the more attractive option. Now to be fair, who knows what the boy would have thought if he'd met me without a description and as my true self. But the assumption was, this is what has to be done in order for you to be defined as pretty. So off we went to meet this boy. While we waited, we went into a local record store called Strawberries in downtown Boston. Yeah, no strawberries. Jay picked up this boy's tape and said, "You should get this tape. It's really good." I had never heard of them, and honestly, I should have asked my parents first. But I bought it. Two things happened that day. First, I fell in love with this group. I mean, for years, I listened to their music over and over. I bought everything I could get my hands on, VHS tapes of their shows. I taped over something of my dad's when they performed at Oprah. I learned the entire dance sequence to the song, which I just spared you all of. I even called the 1-800 number at least a dozen times, not realizing you were charged every time. You can imagine how my parents felt about that phone bill, 75 cents per minute, you can do math. I was obsessed with them. They made me so happy. But the other thing that happened that day is that I began really struggling with my features and my inability to change them. But also, I began to question how I fit into Black culture. It was like my own personal gift and curse all played out through the art of music, one teeny bop lyric at a time. This is a lifelong journey for me, trying to cement my own place within a culture I love so dearly. I have found that through DJing, music is the foundation, DJing is the structure, but trusting myself was the key. DJing cemented my understanding of culture and reinforced what I already knew but did not believe, which is that I am Black culture. I understand the nuances within Black culture. These are things I questioned for years as a kid, a teen, and even as an adult. When I'm DJing, I take that responsibility as a DJ very seriously. It's more than just playing a song or picking a song. For me, DJing is a conversation or a relationship between the DJ and the audience. It's so important to me because it took me so long to find that inner belief and trust within myself that yes, I do belong. I have made amazing connections through music and DJing and made great friends, some of which are here today. Trusting the DJ means that I have to be aware of how different people are hearing a song that is being played. It's understanding the expectations of the people listening to the song while understanding that their expectations may be very different from mine. Let me explain what I mean. I may play a song where one person remembers seeing the music video for that song. For me, that would die on my heart. There are parts of that song that bring back such strong emotions for me, some of which I just shared. A person listening to that same song are entering with totally different experiences than mine. Both feelings are important. My job is to find a healthy balance between my own experience and theirs. There are parts of Down My Heart that hit me hard and can leave me feeling empty. And I may want to transition to another song to avoid feeling that emptiness. But if I transition too early, I may ruin the experience for someone else. It may seem dramatic or even silly, but trust me, it does matter. That audience in that moment is trusting that I will find the balance for them. In order to become a good DJ, I really had to find a place of peace, of patience, grace, and understanding. For me, that meant acknowledging my past, giving space to my own fears and anxieties, while also being so aware of the things that I know to be true and have worked hard to understand and overcome. Music makes me feel vulnerable. It makes me feel powerful. It makes me feel humble. It makes me feel nervous. It makes me feel unsure. It makes me feel happy. It makes me feel hopeful. And today, it makes me feel thankful. I think I have finally figured out how to trust the DJ. Trust the emotion. Sometimes my wife and I will be in the car and she'll say, play a song that reminds you of me. It's a fun game. But we've run out of songs, so stop asking. But what's great about it is the music is so wonderful that I can put a song on that's silly or sad or serious. And she knows the importance of the song or what it symbolizes in our relationship. Powerful song. I'm met by two complicated emotions when I hear this song. The movie Boys in the Hood, which debuted in 1991, is the first time I actually heard this song. There's a scene in the movie where Lawrence Fishburne's character and his son are driving home from fishing, and this song comes on the radio. As they're listening to the song, they are driving back into their neighborhood in Compton and arrive just in time to see two of the son's friends being arrested for an earlier shoplifting incident. In that moment, the song is the third character, because you cannot help but feeling both hopeful for the son and the father's futures and hopeless for that of the two young boys. That was a movie, but the story that was told is a story that's based in truth. In 2020, I, like many people here, watched the George Floyd video as it circulated online. When I finished watching the video and sat still in my living room for a bit, Spotify was set to shuffle, pulling music from my music library. It was a line or two before I realized that was the song that was playing, and it almost felt surreal. I love this song, and I prepare myself every time I hear it or play it, because the emotion that I feel from it is real. I will always connect with watching that video. I will always connect it with watching that video. The song elicited so many truths for me. In that moment, my soul needed that song. I had so many competing emotions: anger, sadness, despair, hopelessness, and fear. And Ooh Child allowed each of those emotions to find space in that moment. But as I said, the song elicits two different emotions for me, but oddly, two very similar set of feelings. While it is the song I needed while watching the truths about our country clash and then come to a hurrying halt, it also pulls at a different set of heartstrings. It provides a reminder about the most important job that I have, the one that is above all, and that's being a parent. Through a different lens, for me, it's also a love song from a parent to a child. I can't help but think about my 8-year-old son when I hear this. Someday, we will walk in the days of a beautiful sun. Someday, when the world is much brighter. I think about his future, and if he will grow up in the world that he deserves, or the world that he has inherited. This song provides the words that every parent wants to be able to say to their child or children, and really want to believe it, because if not, we have to explain a sobering truth. Sometimes lyrics are just words. I hear this, and I feel love. I feel hopeful. But I also feel sad. I see the beauty, and I feel the hardness. Same song, two meanings, two very identical feelings. But our emotions are real, and if nothing else, they remind us to pay attention. Your gut twitches, or your stomach drops. It's the emotion that's telling you that it's something to pay attention to. And as with everything, we trust those feelings, because ultimately, they come from within. So as I said in the beginning, music is honest. Music is consistent. It allows you to hear a story from a different point of view and maybe adjust your perspective. It allows you to self-reflect and work through your own struggles. It allows us to find and feel emotion. Trust the music. Thank you.
Yes,